Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Show us your papers.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. We are back. It is Tuesday, the 21st of October. Yesterday, of course, the stream went down, just like Joe Biden at 2 in the morning when he was in the White House, probably still today. The stream went down, and what did we learn yesterday? What did we learn? Well, we learned that you know, when you deal with the interweb, sometimes things can be intermittent and have some issues, and maybe it makes us think of the value of some other things, like, I don't know, the oral media, A-U-R-A-L. It's not O-R-A-L. That's completely different. Don't even think about what that is. We're talking about the oral media, what you listen to, and how important things like radio are. I know you're thinking, oh, good, radio, so whatever. No, it's very important. It's very important. I've been talking about this. You got to use the new digital media in concert with the traditional media, and you use one to promote the other and vice versa. And then when things like yesterday happens, when no video, no live stream is available for just about anybody in the country, then you've got something to fall back on. Otherwise, you're not going to have nothing. And I know you can't live without me, and I know I can't live without you. So there you go. The alarming reality exposed by the global internet meltdown and why Amazon's crash is just the beginning. And consider how much money I spend on Amazon. Mr. Bezos, you better get your butt in gear here. Shortly after 8 o'clock London, when British government websites began to flicker and fade, most of America was asleep. A few night owls on the East Coast found their Disney streaming access stall. What you're doing watching Disney that late at night. Those calling lifts to get home Sunday night partying were struggling. Who's partying on a Sunday night? Routine activities ground to a halt. United and Delta Airlines found their passengers could not use online services. Commuters accustomed to scanning the New York Times morning newsletter, God help us, went without. Snapchatters fell silent. Reddit forums were hushed. 1/3 of all online users worldwide interact with Amazon Web Services, AWS, daily, according to Deep Field Networks. Companies ranging from Venmo to Reddit to Ring all rely on AWS sensors, and on Monday morning, the sensors were down, crashing a significant portion of the interweb. I call it the interweb, by the way. The fact such an outage could happen is surprising, said cybersecurity expert James Knight. Senior principal at Digital Warfare is also a troubling indicator of a new brand of chaos from which none of us are immune. There you go. My first thought was wondering how it could occur. Apparently, some sort of database went down. It's surprising that one thing affected their network, because usually there's backup and redundant systems all running at the same time. One particular system going down is very, very surprising. Very, very surprising. The specter of a cyber attack had been raised, but apparently that has been forgotten. It's not one of the things we're considering. We'd see maybe a malware signature, some sort of unauthorized access, something in the log showing that there was some sort of access gained or some anomalous traffic. There's nothing to indicate that. Instead, the company has said the problem derived from their site in Virginia. Maybe the left is trying to take down the power of this incredible show after moving here. Known as the U.S. East Region 1. That's where I live, by the way. The glitch only lasted 90 minutes, but it took some companies days to recover in 2024 when this happened. The CrowdStrike thing happened. As far as what happened yesterday, by 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, over 8 hours after the first sign of trouble, Amazon sounded optimistic that the end was in sight. We've narrowed down the source of the network connectivity issues that impacted AWS services. The root cause is an underlying internal subsystem responsible for monitoring the health of our network load barriers. Okay, what the hell does that mean? How about fix it? How about that? So, there you go. Happened yesterday, man, and it knocked the show off the air. But people had to listen to the radio. Listen to the radio, among other things. The podcast is still up, by the way. Podcast still up. And yesterday we had a hell of a show, so you might want to check out the podcast. Just go to your usual podcast platforms. You won't see my face. I know, ladies. It's not the same. Because once you get a little Carson on the screen and it goes away, I don't know. It's like a reverse strip club. Would you go to a reverse strip club where they put their clothes on? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. So there you go. Maybe not the best analogy in the world, but that's what I'm going to go with. So the shutdown of the government is backfiring on Democrats big time, backfiring on Democrats. Yesterday we heard Harry Enton say this.
That's exactly right. Turns out shutdowns are different the second time around when it comes to Donald Trump. Take a look here. You know, we speak about Donald Trump shutdowns, net approval rating. We're talking 20 days into it. In 2018/2019, Donald Trump's net approval rating was already falling. Mm-hmm. The shutdown was eating into his popular support.
Yeah, because they had already come up with this fake impeachment, and then, of course, the fake Russia collusion hoax at 98% negative press coverage, which continued, I don't know, until now.
It was down 3 points already at this particular point and would fall considerably more. It was very much on the decline. You come over to this side of the screen, this shutdown hasn't eaten into Donald Trump's support at all. His net approval rating is actually up a point.
You know why? Because he keeps doing amazing, awesome stuff. Like yesterday, he did a rare earth minerals deal that's going to, take care of us not having to go to China to buy all of our stuff for, your electric cars and crap, and your cell phones and all of that. It's going to be amazing. He's doing amazing. Last week, IVF treatment's going to cost pennies on the dollar compared to what it used to cost. 85% decrease in prescription drugs, so you don't have to drive to Mexico to get your prescription drugs. I mean, I could go on and on about this, but you see, he's doing all this winning, and all the Democrats doing. They're just sitting around and having stupid protests because they got their rear ends handed to them in the last election. Here's Mike Johnson talking about this political stuff the Democrats are doing and the damage it's causing.
And it's also important for us to note this is the first time in history that any party has had the audacity to shut down the government over a totally clean, nonpartisan continuing resolution. This is a political stunt, and it's the first time it's been done, and it is the most costly, most selfish, most dangerous political stunt in the history of the United States.
Yeah, it's a D word for Richard move.
Congress, because as we have stood here day after day after day explaining all the Americans who are being harmed by this nonsense. And the Senate Democrats have zero shame about this. They don't have any shame at all about the pain that they're inflicting upon hardworking families.
You know why? Because they didn't give a rat's behind about the border being open for 4 years. They didn't give a rat's behind about the cost of groceries increasing 50% under Joe Biden, the cost of a car, a used car, doubling, the cost of a home doubling, interest rates tripling during Joe Biden's presidency. And all they could come up with some Inflation Reduction Act was just a massive expansion of government and a massive payoff to government cronies.
On soldiers and law enforcement officers and veterans and the elderly and the disabled and women, infants, and children. Services to all those categories and paychecks to those folks.
Now, if the shutdown only impacted illegal aliens, then of course the Democrats would want to end the shutdown. But they could give a rat's behind about you. Honestly, obviously. This is Jake Tapper, old Jake Tapper. He didn't even know that Joe Biden had alleged dementia until after Joe Biden left office so we could sell a book about it. And Jake Tapper even knows this is on the Democrats.
You're blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, but in point of fact, it's the Democrats in the Senate who are refusing to vote for the clean continuing resolution to fund the government for 7 weeks. I mean, that just as a point of fact, the way that we have always covered shutdowns is that the party that is not voting for the CR, the continuing resolution to fund the government, is the party that is...
I had a clean CR about 8 months ago, and no polyps or anything.
...blocking the government funding and is responsible for the shutdown. That's how we did it the last time in 2018, 2019. That's the time we did before that during the Obama administration. I mean, it's your party that is refusing in the Senate.
And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Because you can't lie big enough to cover this up. It's the same way with all the goodness that Donald Trump is doing right now. You can't lie big enough to cover this up. And the Democrat Party is discovering that. But yet here is Hakeem Jeffries. He says that Donald Trump is just spending a lot of time on the golf course.
Donald Trump definitively needs to get involved. He needs to get off the sidelines, get off the golf course, and actually decide to end the shutdown that he's created. Joe Biden was on vacation 40% of the time his entire presidency until he was pulled from the ticket because everybody knew he had dementia and pudding for brains. And then they, of course, made Kamala Harris the candidate without a vote. That's kind of a no kings thing, right? Isn't that kind of that? You dimwits who went out and did these stupid protests last weekend. You know, and then after that, he was on vacation 65% of the time. I just mentioned to you what Donald Trump has done in the last week. He got a friggin' peace deal in Gaza with Israel. He is lowering prescription drug prices. IVF got a big deal going on with minerals in Australia to get our supply chain out of there. By the way, started making last week the first artificial intelligence chips in the country's history. We started building them last week. Last week we found out Stellantis is going to build cars again here, $16 billion investment. Whirlpool's going to make appliances here again, another $13 billion investment. So what do you mean he's on the golf course, for God's sake? He has allowed to happen. We know that House and Senate Republicans don't do anything without getting permission from their boss, Donald J. Trump.
No, see, the shutdown is on you guys. The clean CR is there. All you got to do is say, let's do it. Then we got a month and a half to kind of hammer things out. But you want to do that because you think you're in a position to negotiate. You think you're in a position to, like you used to, when you owned the media, when the only media was ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, PBR, whatever the hell, and you don't anymore. You hold no sway anymore. Nobody's watching those networks anymore. And you still think you're going to be able to extort us out of $1.5 trillion, and it's not going to work. So now you're just being exposed as complete bleep holes. That's what you're doing, Democrats. Congratulations. You're not going to win this. Hell, even Bernie Sanders got called out on The View yesterday because he was defending Congress being paid while government employees aren't.
It's easier for the politicians in D.C. to go away from each other and say, we will win this way, while people are losing their paychecks. If Congress just said, we're not going to take our paychecks till we figure this out, that would be a noble step in the right direction, I would say.
That's not everybody can afford to do. You got some young people there with kids there.
Either can the people that aren't getting paid, though.
I think that's a fair.
Oh, okay. So the only people who have young kids who aren't able to pay their bills are the people in Congress. Wow. This coming from the guy who preaches a good game about socialism and sharing the wealth and, and blah, blah, blah. And he's got 4 houses on a public salary. Please. He's an oligarch. We got a little bit more on this. Also, not going to surprise you if you listen to this show, who attended the No Kings protest. They actually have demographic information. You know what it says? Old Karen, emasculated husbands. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Street protesters, we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over, run them all over, run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
Traitor for sale or rent. To jail, John Bolton will be sent. Indicted yesterday. Would like to see him put away. In court he will be tried. The stuff he took was classified. He's a man who's got no morals. To jail he will go. 10 years for every count. Hope he does the full amount. More charges on the way for Pencil Neck and for Chris Ray. John Brennan Clapper too. Lindsay's coming after you. I'm so glad they indicted Bolton. Away he will go. Traitor for sale or rent. John betrayed the president. Now he will have to pay. Those indictments really made my day. Letitia James is gonna be in trouble. The FBI is looking at her loan. They just launched a new investigation. The name Letitia gave was not her own. I hope they nail her, jail her, send her to the slammer. She should be fired, retired for all the laws she broke. Letitia James is through, you know it's true. I'll be excited when she's indicted. Letitia's gonna get handcuffed and I think I like it. I'll be delighted when she's indicted. I know that she's guilty. Letitia's going down. She'll be run out of town. The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
You know, Senator, back in 2019, you made a similar argument during that shutdown that Republicans are making now. Republicans at the time were asking for more funding for a border wall. You said, let's reopen the government first. I want to play a little bit of what you had to say.
We first should reopen government. Why punish people who are applying for food stamps because the president is having a temper tantrum? Open government first.
So, Senator, by your own logic, should Democrats not vote to reopen the government first and negotiate later?
Kristen, here's what's different now. The president told the Republicans to write this budget without any Democratic involvement.
No. Actually, you see, it's a CR. That's Tim Kaine, by the way. Kaine is able to really screw things up. There you go. Anyway, and so it's a clean CR so they can hammer things out, but you guys are just trying to extort a lot of money because you're in the position to demand nothing. And you're in the dying throes of your party as you spin into hell. So there. You're kind of shooting your wad. Here is John Stewart. Oh, my God. John Stewart calling out Bernie Sanders on health care. Because Bernie Sanders, he's now saying that health care is broken. Health care is broken. We've got the big health care. For those of you who don't know, they passed Obamacare in 2010. Everything was going to be fixed. We said it was going to not fix everything, and we were right.
But again, this gets to the Democratic solutions have never been to directly provides. It's always been a subsidy to a middleman. But what happens is when the government promises endless funds to insurance companies or private universities without any cost controls, and Trump seems to understand this, prices rise far beyond the rate of inflation. And we've seen it in tuition, and we've seen it in pharmaceutical, and we've seen it in healthcare. So my question is, will Democrats recognize the poison pill that they've often placed into well-intentioned policy.
Right. Well, because you see, they never fix anything. They just enrich those who help them get elected. They only enrich their friends in big pharma, in big defense, and all these industries. They don't care about fixing anything. And we discovered in the last 4 years, they've taken it to a new level by impregnating their NGOs with trillions of dollars, these NGOs that do nothing but make Democrats rich and their friends rich while looting the treasury. And it's beyond corrupt. I mean, it makes the Soviet Union look like a daycare center. It is like beyond corrupt. It is ridiculous. Here's Kevin Hassett. He says this is going to end.
Well, first of all, the president has been very active throughout this process, but it's also his position that this is a thing that the Senate needs to work out. A lot of our friends in the Senate have said that it was just bad optics for Democrats to open the government before the No Kings rally, and that now there's a shot that this week things will come together and very quickly the moderate Democrats will move forward.
Yeah, they got past the No Kings. They thought it was the last dying gasps of the class of 1968, and they thought the No Kings would create some sort of momentum, kind of like they said the DNC convention was about joy, and everybody knew it was a lie. Everybody knew it was a lie, and No Kings isn't about Donald Trump being a king. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Here are some of the demos. This is according to Axios, the demos of the No Kings protest. Now, who a few months ago, a year ago, said that Kamala Harris's constituents were old, white, liberal Karens and the emasculated men in their lives? Oh, yeah, this guy right here. I'm pointing my thumbs at me right now because I said this, because I saw it. The typical attendee at the D.C. protest was an educated white woman in her 40s who heard about the event either through friends or via Instagram, according to preliminary data connected by the American University researchers who track protest movements. The rest were just paid for. Dana Fisher, professor of American University School of International Service, tells Axios nearly 7 million people protested nationwide on Saturday as part of the No Kings rallies, one of the largest single-day demonstrations in the world. 86% of the protesters in D.C. were white. 60% of them were women. There you go. Here's Seamus Bruner with a breakdown of the No Kings.
So for the first time ever, we did a full cash analysis of every single one of the No Kings partners and official organizers. I mean, that's close.
Yeah, usually when you have a protest, you don't need $260 million to put it together, but that's what it costs.
To 200 organizations, and what we found was kind of shocking numbers. We didn't think that this would be, the numbers would be this high, but we chose the Soros, of course, Open Society Network. We chose the Arabella Funding Network, which gets a ton of money from Soros and Gates and Zuckerberg and others. Tides, and several others, including some of the foreign funding networks like Neville Roy Singham. And yeah, it was $294 million. That's according to the most recent IRS 990 forms. We went through thousands of pages of IRS forms. It feels really silly. But the thing is, these organizations are going to be around moving into 2026. They're going to be ramping up. A lot of these groups were involved in the Tesla takedown, hands-off May Day events that turned violent. A lot of the anti-ICE riots are all these groups participating.
There you go. It's all bullcrap. It's all bought and paid for Marxism. It's nonsense. There is not an outcry against Donald Trump and his policies. In fact, the opposite is true, and a beatdown is coming to these groups by the DOJ, by the FBI, by the Treasury as well, and this bleep is going to end. Let's take a break and come back. From Canada, who is represented in the World Series, Michael Charbon joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson, not proud member of the 4 a.m. club. You know what that is? Well, that's the time that I usually wake up every night and can't get back to sleep. Then I found Beam's Dream Powder. Now, Beam's Dream Powder is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, including reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It's designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling amazing. And unlike other sleep aids, there's no next day grogginess, just great restful sleep. Plus, Dream tastes incredible, and it's become a part of my nightly routine. Simple, easy, effective. Dream is made right here in America, supporting jobs, quality, and the principles we stand for in America. Thank you very much. Beam is going to give my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount, up to 40%. Try their best-selling Dream Powder. Get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Again, use the code Newsmax at checkout. That's beam.com/Newsmax and use code word Newsmax for up to 40% off.
Mom Donnie, a socialist. Mom Donnie, a communist. He's a fan of a muss. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mom Donnie is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mom Donnie, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in. They'll regret that they helped him win.
I am sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That goal, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
the music we use for Michael Charbon. Michael Charbon is, of course, the host of the Charbon Report, and he is coming to us from Canada, where, by the way, the band Rush has announced a new tour, and they've got a girl drummer to replace Neil Peart, and she knows what the hell she's doing, I'm telling you. Michael Charbon, how you doing, my friend?
Never disagree with a woman who beats a drum.
Oh, dear Lord. Listen, I was married to one who kept beating the same drum over and over again. You need to do something else for a living.
Hey, listen, sometimes you have to dance to a different beat of a drum.
Yes, you do. By the way, congratulations to your Toronto Blue Jays as they take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I'm thinking of all the great names of Canadian baseball, like Alejandro Kirk and Andres Jimenez and all of those Canadian names.
Come on, you're just jealous because there's so many Canadians who play in American hockey teams.
No kidding.
Come on, give us a break. The last time we went to the pennant was like 32 years.
I know.
Which is 92, 93. Yeah. So, I mean, we're pretty proud. 41 million Canadians and 40,000 in the stadium. That's big for us.
No, listen, and I got to tell you, and I'm not meaning to throw shade on you. I'm glad for you. I don't care. I mean, obviously, a lot of people watch baseball. I think there's a nice marriage between American baseball and Canadian baseball, unlike the inferior Canadian football. Nothing you can do about that. But
wow, because you weren't on yesterday, are you tweaking now? I mean, is it still anybody who comes on?
No, I'm just playing with you. No, I'm actually, I think it should be a good series. I've been watching a little bit of baseball because I'm so disappointed with football because, they decided they're going to have Bad Bunny perform at the halftime. And I've seen some pretty damn good ball the last few, and I always kind of, obviously things get excited during the playoffs, but it seems like this year there's just, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of, I think it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, we're the underdog. It's a 60-40 Vegas split that Dodgers are going to get it. But the thing that really makes a Canadian bubble is this Shohei Ohtani. They're paying him $700 million over 10 years. Now, think about this. I mean, you talk about making dough, right?
Yeah.
So the guy wasn't even born the last time the Blue Jays visited the World Series.
I know.
So that, first of all, is I'm feeling like horribly old. Yeah. Do you realize that Patrick Mahomes makes $450 million a year?
Yeah. But didn't he hit 3 home runs? Didn't he hit 3 home runs the other night?
I'm just talking money, dude. Even Messi. Everybody's all upset about, the World Cup's coming. The world is coming to an end. Oh, my God. He makes $674 million.
I know.
This guy, Ohtani, out of L.A., is $700 million. I mean, what's that about? That's about 20 years of you on radio. I mean, that's not bad.
20 lifetimes, actually, is what that would be. You know what? Here, I got a news for the Dodgers. Build your own damn stadiums, all of you, for crying out loud. Now, when you play in Canada, is getting a year's supply of Molson's part of your deal?
Yeah, you know what? The unfortunate reality, you sure cut deep, don't you? Eh? At least we have 5% alcohol in our beer. That's the way I can defend it.
That's true. Well, we got some. I don't drink anymore, but there's some high octane beer down here. Ooh, I'll tell you. There's a place called Dogfish Head in Maryland. They make some damn good beer that I don't drink anymore. Hey, I want to move on here. For some reason, some Canadians decided to have a No Kings protest too, like the United States. Is kind of stupid because this is your prime minister a few months ago.
I, Mark Carney, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors.
So how, I mean, listen, American leftists are stupid. Are Canadian leftists even more stupid? What's the deal?
So we have something called tradition, We look at the monarchy as something that we can salute in the flag. We can drink a drink too.
Yeah.
We respect our heritage. The king doesn't come over here. King Charles doesn't come over here and tell us what to do.
Yeah, okay.
It's just kind of heritage. It's just our thing. But I think what the real problem is.
What?
is that Carney's just pissed off that he doesn't have a girlfriend like Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's never going to.
But no, Justin Trudeau's like 53 years old, and Katy Perry is 40, and they're swapping spit in L.A. I mean, what's going down?
I saw that. Honestly, I guess she likes beta males. I mean, honestly, he's the pretty boy beta male. Probably hasn't had real milk in a while. He has soy milk or whatever sort of milk you drink in Canada. Like, I guess maybe walnut milk or something. I don't even know what you drink up there. But
walnut milk. Are you serious?
I don't know.
You should come up to my igloo sometime, and I'll chop up a little raw salmon for you.
Oh, brother, I would be up for that. I swear I would be up with that. Let's talk a little bit about the Canadian economy. You'd mentioned that the tariffs are hitting, and then you also mentioned in this little text you sent me that the Poilievre has penned a scathing letter to Carney. Do you suppose Trump is playing so hard with Canada to bring down Carney's popularity and usher in like what's happening in South America and Central America with conservative regimes moving into power?
Well, I think if we're going to get serious to politics now, I think Donald Trump has a hand over Mark Carney. Mark Carney is relating to renegotiating Kuzma and thinks that that's going to be the solution to his trade problems. He's also looking at this baseball thing as a real detractor of the Canadian economy's woes, because everybody's going to come together and wave the big baseball thing. Our problem is, Rob, that we've got 7.3% unemployment here.
Wow.
You guys have 4.3%. A colleague of mine wanted to buy American dollars to go south, and it cost him 41 cents on the dollar to buy an American dollar.
Really?
So when you start to look at those kind of economy, when you start to look at things still a little more expensive in the States than in Canada, you wonder why travel is down. You wonder why the Canadian economy is looking at 2.6% inflation growth, and that we're in deep trouble here. It's getting to be a point. We've got $2.3 trillion in debt, and we are over $100 billion over our budget. And a lot of these problems sound exactly the problems that Donald Trump is trying to solve. So conservatism is something that may save us if everybody shakes their head and nothing falls out.
Now I want you to hold on, okay, Michael, because I want to cover this letter that you mentioned about Poilievre. How do you say it?
It's Poilievre.
Poilievre, because I speak French, and it was Poilievre. It was how I would say it. And, but whatever, you guys, that's fine. But I want to talk about that coming up. And then also, you got a long, cold winter ahead of you. Gas and coal are coming down in price majorly here. And this is really...
My coal stove is working so great.
I swear. Well, we'll cover that after the break. Let's go ahead and take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Texting enrolls you.
It's the Rob Carson Show, back with Michael Charbon in one moment. I want to tell you the price of gold today is at $4,115. $4,115. Silver's holding right about $49 today. Down just a little bit from last week, but meteorically up to $54. And you can guarantee with this, it's a volatile market, but both precious metals are on the way up. There's no doubt about either of those. Gold up 45% this year. We had no idea that gold would be $4,115 at this time last year. Right now, when you buy gold and get silver, you get silver for every $5,000 purchased, actually invested in Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day. They will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. If you're streaming right now, you can see it. I've got it right here in front of me. It's pretty. It's kind of cool. I've been carrying around this little velvet pouch that I got from Birch Gold here. It's kind of cool. I'm calling it a good luck charm. Hell yeah, why not? There it is. So anyway, you can look into gold. It's up, like I said, 45% this year. Plus, they'll send you a free honorary this round honoring the Gadsden flag and American flag. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount, by the way. What? Yeah. So an A+ rating from the BBB is fantastic. I trust Birch Gold because they have my money. And right now, all you got to do to get this silver round and invest in gold is just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. You're going to get some great information. You're not going to be pressured into buying anything, and they'll make it easy. And when you decide to move forward, they'll give you a bunch of different options. It's actually a delightful process. Unlike divorce, that wasn't very fun. Yeah. So anyway, text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898 to begin the investment train with Birch Gold. Yeah. So Michael Charbon talking about what's going on in Canada. It's very cold in Canada. It's very expensive to heat your homes in Canada. We've got a kind of a new energy revolution happening in America. Millions of acres opened up for more coal. Of course, drill, baby, drill, the lowest gas prices we've seen in years. What's going on in Canada? Because surely a World Series victory or performance that is good isn't going to detract from all of the woes that Canadians are feeling now as we go into a long, cold winter.
That's what the Carney Liberal minority government is hoping for. Gas here is $4.81 a gallon. Oof. And when you start to look at prices like that, I mean, it's humongous. Everything has gone up. Yeah. I mean, our interest rate hasn't helped us at all either, because here we are looking at prime is like 4.75. Wow. So you look at these things and you look at our food banks. Our pressure points, unemployment is high. Yeah. We're in a situation that the tariffs now are having an effect on our economy, hence why people are telling Carney to get a deal done. Yeah. And Poilievre is coming up and saying, okay, you have to start to move on things. As a matter of fact, Poilievre threw a little bit of vinegar into the veins. He was talking about that the Liberals since 2016, hold on, don't fall off your swivel seat there, Carson, spent $1 billion on DEI.
Oh, I know. I know.
This is like this business where there's feminine hygiene products in men's washrooms, and they have these pictures of these two guys holding hands with this little baby, and you're looking at this and going, what in heaven's name are we doing?
You know, I'm wondering, Michael, that Donald Trump is playing 3D chess with the world. He has a lot of balls in the air to get people to the negotiating table. It happened between India and Pakistan. He used the tariffs to get them to come together. He bombed the Iranian nuclear facilities to get Hamas to lay down their arms, and we'll see how that works out. Do you suppose he's doing the same thing with Canada to usher in a conservative revolution up there?
Well, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of people that admire what Donald Trump is doing and wish that we would have the same kind of action taking place here. What the problem is Canadians are always a little more laid back. If I smash my car into yours, I'm going to say sorry, because we are people who don't like to have conflict. Yeah. And the unfortunate reality is we're in a pretty vicious society right now where the world is a smaller marketplace where people are competing for jobs and survival, and that impacts the country. And what Donald Trump has instituted in putting America first is doing just that. Yeah. The tariffs, a lot of people are saying, are bad for Americans, but in actual fact, once this all irons out, you guys are going to be ahead of the game.
Oh, we already are. We already are. We're already bringing in. We're bringing in. They're saying $500 billion in tariff revenue. They're going to use some of the tariff revenue to help out our farmers because China is undercutting our and not importing our soybeans. So that's already happening, Michael. It is already without a doubt proving to be effective. And I really hope for the Canadian people that you move rightward, because I think Canada, maybe you're a little bit slow on the uptake on being sick and damn tired of these leftist idiots. I think you're getting there.
Well, I would tend to agree with you. Yeah. The one salient point that I think everybody wants to see from Donald Trump, which would be the coup de grace to just finish off the Democrats, is to be able to show an absolute reduction in the American deficit.
Yeah.
I see all the cuts. We see that he's taking advantage of the government closure to eliminate all these institutions that have been fed for so many years. Yes, there's people that are unfortunately going to be out of work, but in the end, the real goal of all of that is to see the American deficit go down, because if that goes down, your industrial base increases, and now you're producing oil. Now you're a force to be reckoned with in the United States. It really, truly will be the golden era that the Democrats.
I think brighter days. I think brighter days are ahead for Canada, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Michael. I really do, because I've always felt a kinship with the Canadians. But I think brighter days are ahead. Brighter days are coming here. The left is doing a death spiral into hell. We got to run, but I appreciate you, brother. Where can people find all your glorious work? Michael Charbon.
MichaelACharbon.com. I'm also on YouTube at The Charbon Report. And Rob Carson, thank you for letting me come on your radio show. Love listening to you.
I would do something cliche like do some sort of inter-country bet on baseball, but nah, I don't think so. Let's just enjoy the game. All right. Let's enjoy the series. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. All righty. Let's see who's online. Sorry about yesterday. Thanks, Amazon jerks. It really kind of bummed me out, but it made me realize, a lot of the times you're down on the possibility, of radio. Okay, radio, for instance, analog. There are also a lot of people who say, broadcast television is dead. Really? Well, where are you going to get that local? Where are you going to get that massive local connection? I hate to tell you this, but tires have been around for about 150 years. They're still made of rubber. All right, so sometimes things, leather is still made of leather. So, there's a time and a place for both, and radio didn't fail yesterday. What failed was the interweb, and unfortunately you weren't able to see me, which, probably is good for some of you and bad for the rest of you. Anyway, who's watching? Robert Myers is watching. Rounded Pony is watching. Janine Page and Scarecrow again. Look at all the action. Look at all the action on the YouTube. Broncos, Giants, James Cosby, a day or two late on that one. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of, people going back to church. Clearly a lot of people going back to church in Denver because they know the way they should have won that game. I mean, it was something else. If I were obviously a Giants fan, I'd be really ticked. But if I were a Broncos fan, I'd be going crazy. A lot of my family are Broncos fans. So there you go. We got, let me see, who's watching here? James Cosby over there. Let's go 9901. A lot of new Mickey Hastings. Good to see you back over there. Over on the Facebook, Terry Graves, Pradi's watching. Pradi Upper Chat is there, and the usual suspects. Thanks for watching. Isandro Catano. I think I might have seen you on there before, but it's nice to have you back. Lots of new names. What's trending on Schumer, Shutdown, and Iron Maiden are trending on Twitter. Iron Maiden, come on now. I was a big Iron Maiden fan in high school. Oh, time for me to talk again. Here we go.
3 minutes here.
All right, here we go. Chris Stapleton. Oh, man. Chris Stapleton is cross-generational. There are a lot of, in my apartment complex, there are a lot of 20-somethings, and, The other day, these 20-something girls were driving through the parking lot. They had their Chris Stapleton jam, and they were playing Tennessee Whiskey. I was like, and they're like, we love Chris Stapleton. And I said, well, I got to listen to this. And they were like, get away from me, you creepy old man. And I was like, oh, come on, it's okay. Come on, come to my apartment. We'll hang out. No, I didn't say that, actually. But anyway, no, Chris Stapleton's cross-generational. So we're talking about the demographic for the No Kings protest. I was right. It's all liberal Karens. Liberal Karens, the Gladys Kravitz, the woman who is the head of the HOA, the one who complains about the slightest bit of mildew on your siding and has you written up. She's awful. She got rid of the Redskins. She got rid of the Dixie Chicks. She got rid of Aunt Jemima because she was offended for somebody else. And then it looks like that's most of the people. 86% of the protesters in D.C. alone were white. 57 of them were women, which is what I've been saying for a while. They're liberal Karens, and they're in a death spiral to hell. Jim Gossett on the Rob Carson Show.
Israel, they all hate liberal Karens. They think Hamas is great.
Yeah, they do that too.
Liberal Karens, they are behind the move to defund police.
Yeah, they are.
They're mostly unappealing, and quite obese. Rachel Maddow, Joy Behar, liberal Karens.
Liberal Karens.
Of morality, they are completely barren.
Well, in more ways than one.
They want to take our freedoms from you and me.
But they won't.
Because liberal Karens hate this country.
Yep, because they're going down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, by the way, nearly 90% of the No Kings protest participants were politically left. 47% very left, most of them bought and paid for with hundreds of millions of dollars, nothing organic about it. Just like I said, there's not a movement against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is kicking serious butt. And speaking of that, Donald Trump has given permission to kick some serious butt in Portland. Yes, Antifa's going to get the spanking we've been hoping for. That's on the other side of the break, and this is the Rob Carson Show.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show today. Yesterday, we learned the value of broadcast radio because the stream was down. The stream went down yesterday. There was all sorts of issue with some sort of Amazon server or something located in Virginia, for God's sake. Maybe somebody plugged the toaster and the hairdryer in the same outlet. But anyway, we were down yesterday. Now we are back. And, of course, we were on radio stations around the country yesterday and also the podcast. The podcast is still there from yesterday, so you might want to check it out. I was looking at what's trending right now. Schumer's shutdown is trending. That's good because the Democrats are being blamed for the shutdown because they're the cause of the shutdown, you see. And it's falling flat, and they think they have some sort of I guess, value to their currency that doesn't exist. They still think that they're kind of a big deal, but they're despised, actually. The Democrat Party is despised right now because they are a miserable lot. If you've seen their approval ratings, it's under 20%, and yet they still think that they can come in and say, yeah, we want $1.5 trillion of spending. We demand it. We demand it. And Donald Trump, what does he do? Well, he creates funny memes about it. With the No Kings protest, he put up a movie that had Donald Trump flying in a fighter jet, carpet bombing the No Kings people with feces. It was really funny, and they got all butthurt about it, and because they don't have a sense of humor. But that's how Donald Trump feels about it, because this is generally what happens when people go after you for 10 years with 98% negative press coverage, 2 impeachments that are based on nothing, 91 criminal counts. All have to do with nothing, no truth to them whatsoever. A $450 million fine for nothing, trying to take him off the ballot, then trying to murder him twice. That's what happens when you have that happen to you. You just kind of say, you know what? Screw you. Screw you. But the Democrats are very upset. Hakeem Jeffries is very upset. All sorts of just heard about this. Oh, my God, it's so offensive. It's so offensive. It's so gloriously offensive is what it is. It's gloriously offensive. The New York City mayor's race is going, and it looks like the communist is out in front. Zoran Kankami. And here's some of the demographic breakdown. 49% female for him, 36% male. Is that a big surprise? Karen. A little bit more for the Andrew Cuomo, 34-31. Curtis Sliwa, more men, real men vote for Curtis, 27-31. Foreign-born, 62% for Zoran Mani, 24% for Andrew Cuomo, 12% for Curtis Sliwa. As far as the boroughs are concerned, the people who are voting most for Mondami, oddly enough, Brooklyn. Obviously enough, Curtis Sliwa, it's Staten Island, of course, because they have common sense there. Also, a lot of people voting for Cuomo in Staten Island and in the Bronx. As far as Zoran Mondami, with regard to religion, Catholic 29%, Protestant 48%, Jewish 30%. Are you out of your freaking minds? Cuomo's 41% Catholic, 32% Protestant, and 63% of the Jews are voting for him, and then Sliwa, only 6% Jewish voting for him. Whatever. Anyway, here is Curtis Sliwa last night talking to Rob Schmidt on Newsmax. Because, here's the deal. Right now, you've got Curtis Sliwa and a crap sandwich. That's what you got to choose from. And everybody's telling you that Curtis Sliwa doesn't have a chance. And Republicans are being told, well, you can't win. Curtis Sliwa can't win. So vote for the guy that was a terrible governor, and there's a good chance your parents or maybe grandparents were killed by him in a nursing home in the last 6 years. So there's your choice. Crap sandwich. Communist or terrible governor who may or may not have presided over the death of your parents or grandparents in a nursing home. What a great choice, New York. Oh, my God, what a glorious crap sandwich. Wow. Does it come with chips and a drink? Well, of course not. You'd have to pay extra for that. But here is Curtis Sliwa last night talking to Rob Schmidt.
Did Rudy Giuliani win?
Long time ago.
Did he win in 93? Did a guy, George Pataki, that nobody knew beat the better Cuomo Mario the next year? On the day of the election, he was 14 points down George Pataki. There was no early voting. he beat Mario Cuomo, the better Cuomo, by 3 percentage points. I'm supposed to have faith in polls that have been wrong every step of the way, and billionaires who should focus on Wall Street because they know nothing about the streets of New York City. Rob, I'm the candidate. Whether people like it or not, they can vote for me or they might not vote for me. But I believe you trust the people to make the decision. I never heard of this before. One person, one vote, but we let the billionaires decide and everybody else drops out. Is that democracy, Rob?
You know, see, it's easy for me to say, we're going to hell in a handbasket. Might as well vote for Sliwa as a middle finger to the idiots on the left. But I don't have to live in New York. Here is a little bit more from Curtis Sliwa.
Well, Rob, it's the Democrats who created that. They made Zoran Mandami. Andrew Cuomo lost to him decisively in the primary. Yeah. And now you're thinking that Andrew Cuomo...
So how's he going to win?
...can be the savior. I'm sorry. I am the Republican candidate. I had 30,000 people who signed up to qualify me to be the second major party candidate. And I am the law and order candidate, of which Andrew Cuomo is the architect. But what? And Zoran Mandami is the apprentice to no cash bail, raise the age, turn criminals loose from Rikers Island. So again, I am the legitimate Republican Party candidate.
It's true.
Major party candidates don't drop out for independents who are losers to begin.
It's kind of interesting, and he makes a good point. You don't just drop out of the race as the major party candidate because the polls say you're going to lose. Especially when you're dropping out for an independent and a communist. So I don't know. I don't know. Could the polls be wrong? Hell yeah, they could be wrong. Not sure they're that wrong. We'll see. Nicole Malliotakis was on talking about Zoran Mandami. She's a representative from New York.
It's not just him. I mean, you the saying, show me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. That is applicable here. Zoran Mandani has palled around with socialists, with communists. Now this radical extremist imam. This is somebody who is anti-American. This is somebody, as you mentioned, has defended the convicted plotters of the World Trade Center bombing. Yeah. And he has to come out and actually denounce Hamas. He still has not done that. He did it in a mild way during the debate. But it's because he is what you think he is. He is what you think he is. He is what you fear could happen. This is a communist sympathizer. He's a terrorist sympathizer. And I will tell you something else. 1993, Zoran was still a baby in diapers in Uganda, Africa. He is only 34 years old. He's only been in this city as a citizen for 7 years. He does not have the experiences, does not have the knowledge to be mayor of the largest city in the nation. And his policies are just downright dangerous. You know, a 16-year-old who spent a summer working at Orange Julius has more work experience than this jackweed, who has nothing more than academic credential and radical leanings. That's it. He learned everything he learned from academia and his radical upbringing. He is an anti-Semite. He is a communist. Otherwise, you know, if he had any life experience, he'd know that communism doesn't work. But he's clearly a Manchurian candidate. You can't say that. Yeah, I just did. Here's Nicole Malliotakis. She says New Yorkers don't want this. I truly believe that the people in New York City do not want this, that they actually don't. And I think millions of immigrants that have fled socialism and communism, like my mother, will be the difference in this election. I think more people need to know what socialism is, and it's incumbent upon people who've experienced it and fled it to actually teach the younger generation about it. I don't know. I don't know. If I were in New York, I think I would just vote for Sliwa. I know it's crazy, right? No, it's not. I just think that's what I would do. I think I would just say, no, screw this. I'm done. Trump has been handed command of the National Guard in Oregon. He's going to send them to Portland. You know why? Because Portland is a violent, awful place. Here, I'll give you an example. Even though late night television, Jimmy Kimmel, who's not going to get a new contract because he's failing. He's destroyed late night. Let me give you a little taste of life in Portland now.
This lady's trying to get through the streets. We're not letting her through. They're not letting her through. What's your message to these protesters, ma'am?
Get a job. Get a job.
They're all out here drinking at night. They're all getting drunk. They're all on drugs. All the Antifa members go to his house.
That is not true, obviously, because you listen to J.B. Pritzker. He says this isn't happening.
The president lies consistently, and he's got a lot of people around him, the sycophants, including J.D. Vance, who lie on his behalf.
This guy really wants to be president, and he's never going to be the president. He's too unlikable, and he's never done anything right in his life.
You know, he's got the biggest platform.
Except for play blackjack. He does that well.
In the country, the presidency. And he just says things. It's propaganda. Again, not true. But he'll
like the America's being ruled by a king.
Say it over and over and over again, hoping that people will believe him.
And some of that branding exercise that has been successful, though.
Sure, because
you know why? Because it's actually happening in Portland. You big. I'll be careful. Yeah, it's happening in Portland. This is why the National Guard's going. Because they've been doing this for years in Portland. It's been under siege for years. Yeah, break.
Behind me is a man's body that's been here for several hours. We've watched hundreds of people walk by and not even notice. We called 911, but still there's no response.
Yeah.
Clutching in his left hand is foil. So this is very clearly a fentanyl overdose.
That's weird. Jimmy Kimmel said Portland's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jesse Waters. Yeah. Oh, the kids are going to get a spanking. This is a spanking I've been waiting for since the summer of 2020. And since Donald Trump was inaugurated on the day he was inaugurated in 2016. Oh, yes. The spanking of the children is coming. Antifa and its web of funding around the country are going to be taken down, and these spoiled little violent Marxist children are going to get a little what fur because Daddy is back in town, baby. On the way, Ned Ryan has some brilliant thoughts on why Democrats are trying to keep people out of Donald Trump, keep Donald Trump from coming into inner cities and turning things around. And it echoes what I've said. That's coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show. Right.
If you're illegal alien in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE.
Avoiding ICE ain't easy. Illegals are so sleazy. Tom Holman set them straight. To ICE should be reporting. You should be self-deporting. Leaving will be your fate. Back home is where you're headed. That's safe to say. And you won't make a stop along the way. No longer can you stay here. You've seen your final day here, 'cause you've committed crime. Avoiding ICE ain't easy. It is far from easy. Avoiding ICE ain't easy anytime.
You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful.
Donald Trump is saying now that we should take a look at Pelosi's stock trades. Could Nancy be a crook? She had information on each and every trade, a case against her, and her husband could be made. Pelosi's, they make millions while they take us for a ride. Now we learn they're insider trading on the side. We'd be in the slammer if this were you or me. It's time to prosecute Paul and Nancy Pelosi, ripping us off a couple of thieves, day trading on the side.
What I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated.
One of your favorite regionals.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
And I have to be honest, I have never felt so unsafe in this city. A few months ago at our bar, there's a group of people that will descend.
There's a bar owner in Portland.
We have to shut down all the time. 45 people. 2 women in the group started breaking glass in our bar, stabbing each other. Our bartender called us. We pulled up the security cameras live. She was screaming. Blood splattered on the security cameras. The police came. Wow. No name was taken. No report. No accountability. Wow. And it's not an isolated incident. We've had people that have been 86. They come back with guns in hand, standing a foot off of our sidewalk for hours every single weekend. Every single weekend. Our staff is terrified. We've endured break-ins, vandalism. We've been held up by gunpoint.
You know where that's not happening now? Washington, D.C. Because Donald Trump brought in the National Guards working with local authorities to end this bullcrap. Same thing's happening in Memphis, by the way, and they love it in Memphis. They love it in Memphis. They're saying yes. They're saying yes. It is utterly ridiculous. And then you got to hear, this is Brandon Johnson, the moron mayor of Chicago, who makes Lori Lightfoot look like Fiorello LaGuardia or Rudy Giuliani.
Well, look, we're already in the mix. Right. You know, the president of the United States of America declared war on the city of Chicago. And in fact, he's declared war on working people.
It's an absolute lie.
Across this country. And in order for us to beat back this tyranny, it's going to take all of us to be organized.
They're not going with you, moron.
And to be clear about our demands, making sure that our schools are funded, healthcare.
Your schools are well funded and they suck.
Is fully funded, transportation, good paying jobs. These are the things that the people of this country desperately need, particularly at a time in which the ultra-rich continue to get richer.
Every one of the damn talking points the Democrat Party has been vomiting forever, and they never fixed a damned thing. I'm going to get to Ned Ryan's thoughts on this. I have a great deal of respect for Ned Ryan. I met him the other night. A really cool dude, and he gets it, man. So I got an email today. Notice, final notice, payment failed. Your service will be paused. This is your final reminder. Unresolved accounts will be automatically locked until billing is updated. If you've already updated, no further action is required. I'm like, oh, this is bullcrap because this is not my account. This is the kind of crap that they send you on email. It's phishing. It's a phishing scam. And what they want to do is get a credit card. So you can avoid, you don't want your unresolved accounts being automatically locked, right? But you see, I'm not an idiot, and I've got a little life experience. But you know what? They're very tricky, and you don't have to be an idiot to fall for it. That's why you need web root protection. Web root protection. October is a Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a.k.a. Cyber Scaries Month. Being vulnerable to cyber criminals is something you can avoid by getting web root protection. Go to webroot.com/Carson, get 60% off. You'll get real-time antivirus protection against emerging threats like malware, ransomware, phishing, like I just read right there. Firewall and network monitor web threat shield detects and blocks malicious websites before you can visit them. Plus, also, you've got VPN for up to 10 devices. Select your connection from 80 locations in more than 65 countries. Hide your IP address, personal data, location from hackers, among other things. Advanced dark web monitoring, all of this. And it's super cheap. Just go to webroot.com/Carson. 60% off for a limited time. October's end is nigh, like the Democrat Party and Antifa. Go to webroot.com/Carson for 60% off. Do it today. Here's Ned Ryan with why the Democrats want to keep peace and quiet and order and joy from America's inner cities.
Well, first of all, they haven't had a Republican mayor in generations. I think Portland last had a Republican mayor 65 years ago. Yeah. I think Chicago has been almost 100. And really, this is what the radical progressives running these cities, this is what they want. They want the chaos, they want the death, they want the destruction, because it allows them to consolidate power. These are power bases for them, Jesse. And I think what you're really seeing right now is a power struggle over, like that last person commented, the power bases for Democrats in these various states are the urban bases, and they really are.
Because New York is Republican other than New York City.
Single party, many states.
Maybe Rochester.
If somehow Trump comes in and ruins their business model of keeping crime and illiteracy and illegal immigration, all of these things, he breaks their business model, which undermines their political power.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it becomes a completely different game. I mean, think about Pennsylvania. If Democrats lose Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania goes red every time.
I know.
And in Illinois, if it weren't for Chicago and Cook County, which is basically Chicago, Illinois is a very red state.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yes,
the visceral reaction you're seeing to Trump trying to bring law and order and peace and security to these urban areas, it's all about power. And
100% right. Absolutely.
Correct. And once they gain power, they create these bureaucracies and these NGOs.
Yes.
That really serve themselves and their allies and perpetuate their power. It's like they're never going to solve crime or illiteracy or illegal immigration because they're not really in pursuit of solving problems. They're in pursuit of these perpetual problems that they can run money and allies into to then perpetuate their own power.
Told you.
And this is their business model. This is especially their business model in urban areas. And so when Trump, the problem solver, is going, hey, this doesn't make sense. Like, we should have rule of law. We should have safety and security. This is a real problem for their business model moving forward. And when you see what's happening in Memphis and these people realizing, oh, we could actually have a different life because of Trump, I think you're going to see political consequences.
You're going to follow the Berlin Wall in America, and you're going to see the light shine through, and life is going to get so much better. And these Democrats in their death spiral to hell are going to eventually collapse. I love it. Just like the Berlin Wall did in 1989. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. Forget fresh olive oil. I eat olive oil every day. I got rid of seed oils years ago. Life is too short to not have wonderful fresh olive oil, and I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and healthy ingredients when it's fresh from the farm. And that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They could sit on the shelf for months growing stale. That's why I get my olive oil from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a fellow named T.J. Robinson, also known as the Olive Oil Hunter. When I tasted TJ Farms' fresh olive oils, I fell in love with their vibrant, grassy flavors. They're incredibly delicious on salad, veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. And as an introduction to his fresh pressed olive oil club, TJ is willing to send you a full-size $39 bottle of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils, fresh from the new harvest, for just $1 to help him cover shipping. There's no commitment to buy anything now or later. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to GetFreshRobCarson.com. That's GetFreshRobCarson.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 shipping. GetFreshRobCarson.com.
Free in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying. She says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live. Rent
With talent on loan from God, and have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine of our life, of our life, of our life.
Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this Golden EIB microphone.
Yeah, I'll call James Rosen in 5 minutes.
Diggy.
I'll let you know in your ear.
Diggy. It is a Rob Carson show. James Rosen, the Newsmax Washington correspondent, the dude, joins us here on the show, talking a little bit about what's going on in D.C. with the shutdown and all that. So how in the hell do you have a smash and grab robbery at the Louvre? Did you hear about this? The most incredible art museum in the world, and some guys were able to park a cherry picker beside the Louvre A cherry picker is, it's like one of those what linemen use, or people who are working on Transformers or whatever. I would love to have one to used to fantasize about having one to get leaves out of my gutters, but I never got one. They were able to go in and just park this thing right beside the Louvre, get off the cherry picker, go inside, smash out some windows, go in and grab a bunch of these incredible jewels, armed with tools including an angle grinder and a blowtorch. Apparently there are no cameras in the room where some of these Napoleonic jewel pieces were, including a necklace worn by Queen Anne-Marie Emilie and Queen Hortense. Careful with that. There was a headpiece worn by royalty with 24 Ceylon sapphires, 1,083 diamonds, can be detached and worn as brooches, and emerald necklace and all of that, and they escaped with it. They got on scooters and took off, and they're afraid they'll never see them again because they'll take the jewels off and sell them. Unbelievable. I guess they have a DEI police force over there. I'm not sure exactly what it is. The Illinois State Board of Education, schools with 0 students scoring proficient in reading in Chicago. There's like 30 of them. Democrats like J.B. Pritzker are doing the same thing George Wallace did in 1963. They want to keep particularly black kids, but kids of color in impoverished neighborhoods, uneducated, impoverished, and aggrieved. That's what they want to do. They are terrified of losing their power base because right now, states that are otherwise Republican are controlled in Congress by Democrat seats of power. That's why they're going down like movie vampires on this. It's not going to work because this is ending. This is ending. Graduation rate at Chicago Technology Academy, 91%. Students proficient in reading, 0%. So 91% of these kids graduate. None of them know how to read. North Lawndale Prep, 87% graduation rate. No one can read proficiently. Spry Community Links High School, 85% graduation rate. 0% proficient in reading. Wow. Dooming these kids. Dooming them. And Democrats say it's worth it. I wrote this last night on my Substack, Go to Rob Carson Show. And the walls came tumbling down is what it's called. Why are Democrats fighting so hard to keep Trump from coming in and making cities safe, schools better, neighborhoods peaceful? One, if he's successful, they will see how the Democrat cabal has effed them for 6 decades. Number 2, the states will turn to the GOP as Democrat population centers control the statewide election of Democrats to Washington. Number 3, they lose the power and money associated with absolute Democrat control. Since the Civil War, particularly since LBJ's Great Society and the sundry family-destroying government largesse like ADC, the Democrat Party has reliably kept people of color in America's inner cities, uneducated in terrible schools, impoverished and dependent on Democrats for a meager ration of housing, SNAP bennies, and child care. Aggrieved, Republicans want to take away your pittance. They're racist. They will never give you reparations for all of the awful racist things the country has done to you. This is a Berlin Wall moment for the people living in Democrat-controlled cities. The wall is coming down. The rulers of these cities and states are desperately trying to hold back the horde screaming, "They've declared war on us. They're Nazis. They're fascists." It's not working. They can't pick up the bricks and remortar them. The American media are like Pravda and Izvestia, are trusted no more after decades of towing the party line. The wall is coming down. There's nothing Democrats can do about it. Free at last, free at last. Great God Almighty, we're free at last. Let freedom ring. That's what I wrote last night. I wrote in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. That's what I did. I could do worse things. I could eat ice cream, but I choose to sit at the computer and, come up with ideas like that. It is coming, finally. I really do believe it is. I've been doing this a number of years, since 1989, and one of my number one platforms on radio is helping out inner city kids and preventing another generation of children from graduating like those kids, not being able to read or write, looking at no future at all, turning to crime, and dying before they're 30. And I'm about tired of it. In cities like Chicago, the murder rate, black on black, is 10 times the national average. It is sickening. Chicago this weekend, I think there were 18 shot. I don't know. Hard to say. But they're usually black kids. Barack Obama hasn't said anything. Barack Obama has said more about his stinking billion-dollar presidential library than he said about black kids dying in Chicago. Because he doesn't care. And neither does Brandon Johnson, and neither does J.B. Pritzker. He cares more about sitting on his big fat butt and playing blackjack than he does about kids in America's inner cities. It's all coming down. It's all coming down. The weight can only be carried so long, and it's there. And I told you, when the election happened, it's a Berlin Wall moment. I told you there's a reason why we're here, why we came together at this moment in time. My first year in broadcasting, 2 things happened. One was the Berlin Wall, one was Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square, the Chinese Communist Party, was able to censor truth and murder its opponents. The Berlin Wall, once that wall started to come down, there was no stopping it. That's what happened when Donald Trump was elected, because they tried to murder him. They tried to take him out using the same tenets of totalitarian espoused by Mao and instigated by Stalin and the Third Reich. And he survived it all. They even tried to make the RNC convention into a wake. That didn't work so well for it, did it? The day before, they tried to murder him. He turned his head, missed death by a hair's breadth. Missed death by a hair's breadth. But they gave it everything they had. Oh, and then they tried to kill him. Well, at least they set up a tree stand near where Donald Trump gets on Air Force One. Here's Dan Bongino talking about it. They found it. The left is still up to this. And I'm going to tell you something. Oh, if this attempt happens again or it succeeds, there will be a reckoning beyond belief you cannot even imagine.
This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
This temper tantrum is going to end. It's been going on for 10 years. And we the people, the best armed intellectually and physically people in the history of mankind, the people who believe in the country is founded, not those who want to end it, not those who want to fundamentally change it. Meaning you want to change it in its founding. Well, guess what? If you don't like it in its founding, go live somewhere else, because we're not changing it. We're not changing it for you. There's a reason why we became the greatest engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of mankind. London and Paris had existed over 1,000 years by the time we were founded. They didn't have electricity. They still had latrines in the street, for God's sake. It took freedom, it took the First Amendment backed by the Second Amendment and the founders to bring us out of the dark ages, and we ain't going back. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. I guess. James Rosen, Chief Washington Correspondent for Newsmax, author of Scalia, Rise to Greatness, and Beatles freak fanatic, joins us on the Newsmax Hotline. He's very busy today. James, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I just want it known, Rob, that Beatles freak is one level higher than Beatles scholar.
Well, you're pretty darn close. You're earning your degree every day. By the way, just real quick, are there any other bands that you really like? Like, for instance, I'm a Led Zeppelin, not close to freak, not as freaky as you.
You tap out at scholarship of Zeppelin. I would say that I'm a collector of rare recordings from quite a few bands, including Led Zeppelin. I've got studio outtakes from all of their albums.
Wow.
I've got an album that's called Out Through the Indoor that has the outtakes from that album.
Wow.
But I do this for Neil Young and Buffalo Springfield and Pink Floyd and mostly the classic rock groups.
Yeah.
But all the solo Beatles, etc. So it's a physical collection that long ago outgrew my ability to actually enjoy it.
Well, I got to tell you, I love music more than ever. I used to work in music radio, and I didn't want to listen to music when I got off the air. It's like working at Taco Bell and then eating at Taco Bell. Now I love it. I love every bit of it. We got to go cruising and buck the Bronco.
It's not like that at all. That's an inapt analogy, and I'm not going to let you, or a simile, and I'm not going to get away with it. So let's continue. Not like that at all.
Let's talk about Washington, D.C. Let's talk about what the Senate Republicans are meeting with Trump today. What's going on with the shutdown? Do you think it's going to end anytime soon?
I don't.
Really?
But, of course, good and honest reporters are best advised to eschew prognostication and instead confine ourselves to telling you what has happened or analyzing what's going on.
Of course.
My sense about this shutdown is the same as all the others, which is that they only come to an end when one side comes to regard that time is no longer on their side, which is to say that they either are seeing that they're getting the public blame for the shutdown, or that the effects of the shutdown are cutting into things they hold so dear that to continue to hold out is no longer an option for them or a viable option. So what is also interesting to see in this particular shutdown, which is now, 21 days in, something like that, steaming toward the record of 35 days, which was the last one in 2018-2019, President Trump's first term. What's dramatically different here is the way the Trump administration 2.0 is handling this shutdown. They are using it to effectuate or to advance other policy objectives in a way we've never seen even the first Trump administration use.
Yeah.
So early on, as the shutdown was appearing more likely and the Senate Democrats were digging in, we saw the White House Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought, make clear that this shutdown was going to be used as an interval in which massive reductions in force of the federal workforce were going to be made, and thereby continuing the work of DOGE. We've never seen any administration take that posture before. Moreover, the president and his aides have been explicit in stating publicly that they were going to use this shutdown to start withholding funds or shutting down funding, particularly for what they call blue projects in blue states, with an open, explicit political goal to be advanced in this shutdown. So those are two ways of treating a shutdown we haven't seen anyone do before, and it's amazing to me, frankly, that the Democrats have lasted this long. There was talk that perhaps they just wanted to get the No Kings protest behind them before for messaging purposes, but so far it doesn't seem, Rob, as though either side has yet reached the conclusion that time is not on their side.
Did you get a chance to, or did you even bother to go see the No Kings protests? I ran into it accidentally, oddly enough, on King Street in Old Town Alexandria on Saturday.
In the heart of Old Town.
Yes.
Which is a beautiful section, by the way. We should let our listeners know that Old Town Alexandria is where you have cobblestone streets, Georgian red brick buildings, and little lamps that have flickering flame inside of them.
I know.
It's very historical.
And my studio is 2 blocks from there, James. My studio is 2 blocks from there.
Okay, well, we don't want to give too specific a location on the air for the deranged fans of yours, but I did not. I was blissfully on the eastern shore of Maryland.
Gotcha. Good for you. What do you think about? Because you're a DC resident longer than I have been. I haven't lived here for 10 years. I've
lived here for 26 years now, almost 20 in the same house in the district.
Look at you. What is the difference you've noticed since Donald Trump federalized law enforcement is working with local officials to clean up the city?
I can't say that I personally have observed much difference, but I would also caution that I don't know that I would necessarily be in the best position to observe such differences if they exist. Like a lot of Washingtonians, I spend the majority of my time, maybe 95% of my time, in one of the 4 sections of Washington, D.C. Northwest, which is huge and can run from Capitol Hill all the way up to sort of Spring Valley, which is a nice leafy section where Warren Buffett grew up. But that's not to say there aren't so-called dicey neighborhoods in the northwest section of Washington, but they're much reduced in numbers since I started living here. Back in 1999, when I moved to Washington, there were whole sections of Massachusetts Avenue, which takes you from northwest down toward Capitol Hill, where they were literally no-go zones with heroin sort of scenes, and now they're expensive condos. But in terms of the Trump deployments and the Trump effect, I have the feeling that most of the action in terms of deployments and movements of federal personnel, National Guardsmen, et cetera, are taking place in parts of the city that I might not visit too often.
Gotcha. Well, I've noticed a lot. I noticed certainly with Union Station and around there, so spectacular. By the way, somebody on the Rumble said James Rosen is so deadpan. Rob tries to make him laugh. I said yes. We have this is our relationship. He's the Buckingham Palace guard, and I'm the annoying American tourist. And he never cracks, does he? He never cracks.
You know, in TV school, in broadcasting school, they teach you that your interactions with the anchor should be like, as they put it, 2 guys having a catch.
Yes.
As we like to say on Staten Island, 2 guys having a catch, huh?
Yeah, it's like, playing catch with Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk. You're Mr. Spock.
All right. I won't stand for that kind of anti-Semitism. No, I'm kidding with you, Rob. Someone did once say to me that Vulcans are space Jews. I don't know if that's true or not.
All right.
I would say that in our interactions, and I used to have this experience when I would do certain morning shows where you have kooky anchors and things.
Kooky anchors. I'm a kooky
anchor.
It's
more like surfing rather than throwing a ball back and forth to each other. You know, can I just ride whatever wave is being thrown at me? But I cherish our conversation.
Sure. Well, I insulted you with Taco Bell, and you called me a kooky anchor. That's great, James. That's really great.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, James. God bless you, brother. Good to talk to you today. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I think I got some cracks in the foundation there, didn't I? Did you hear at the end there? Right. He did. He kind of cracked a little bit there. No, I have great respect for James Rosen. I had the chance to meet him. I really want to hang out with him. I'm not sure the feeling is mutual. But he's a really good guy. He's a really good guy. Who's watching over here? Who's watching on the we got to get some different. I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. On Rumble. We need some new people in here to entertain. I think you guys are getting too comfortable with one another. We need some more people. But anyway, I love you guys. I do appreciate you, and I've actually had to meet several. I've gotten to meet several of you in the Rumble chat, and it's been delightful, by the way. So I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Over on Facebook, we've got Squall White, as usual. Good to see you there. And Carol, Dale Arsenault. In Through the Outdoor was Led Zeppelin's last record. Yep, Carol got that. Listen to Greta Van Fleet, and they've been like a Led Zeppelin kind of cover band with original material, and there's a single they have out called Flower Power, and it's like listening to a new album by Zeppelin. It's really amazing. Flower Power is the name of the album.
Rod is a United States
or the name name of the single. It's not an album. It's not an album. There's another group called the band Feel that's very influenced by Zeppelin. They're very good, by the way. The band Feel is what they're called. And they're touring all over. They're missing Washington, D.C. I wrote them yesterday and said, get your butt to Washington, D.C. I never get to see live music. Now I'm single. Now I'm divorced, single, whatever the hell. But I can go see live music. It's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be kind of fun. Dig to me, dear. Here's the Rob Carson Show. I want to thank James Rosen for being on the show. I kind of got him towards the end there. Did you notice that? He's normally straight arrow. We got him a little bit. That was kind of fun. John Reid's going to join us next hour. He's running for lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia, and he's got a surprise announcement tonight. He's going to have a debate with his opponent. His opponent has not agreed to do a debate, but he's going to have a debate with her tonight. He's going to give me details on that, and you're going to laugh. You're going to go, oh, man, that's fantastic. So fantastic. So, remember Big Balls? No, I'm just talking about the guy who was just beaten here in Washington, D.C. by the young punks. He was a Doge member. He's beaten nearly to death, and some liberal judge decided to let him off because they're letting these punks out all the time. Well, Judge Jeanine's going after him with federal charges. Some of these kids, they're going to go to jail.
On July 24th, he is sentenced to one of the two misdemeanors that he's charged with. Again, my office asked for jail time after he victimized yet another person.
Yep.
And on July 25th, another judge suspends his sentence and decides that he should be on probation. So after a felony of attempted robbery conviction, after a violation of probation, after a second crime, after a second conviction, after no compliance with C. Sosa, the judges say do better and they let him go. And guess what?
What?
Within 10 days, he's at it again with Ethan Levine and Edward Correspondent.
Yeah, but there are federal charges against these punks, which is fantastic. Like, for instance, the No Kings protest. Some people may have gotten a little downhearted about it because you're thinking, okay, maybe the left is gaining ground. They're not, guys. They're not. We found out that there was hundreds of millions of dollars invested in the No Kings movement and all this nonsense. It's all bought and paid for. Nobody believes it. Nobody supports it. People support things like Judge Jeanine's doing, things that Christine Noma's doing. They like ICE raiding people and getting rid of people here who are illegal, particularly illegal alien criminals. They love it. America's waited a long time for this moment, and they are not going to let it go away. And the Democrats on the left are going to try to, continue to get in the way. It's not going to work. What are they in? A death spiral to hell. What are they dying like? Movie vampires. I told you. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show on the way, including some really good winning news. Don't go anywhere.
are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. We are back streaming live as well as on radio stations around the country. Yesterday there was a little outage, some sort of Amazon deal, and we recognize the importance of the analog media, which of course is broadcast radio, which is very important. And then also just the oral media, which is the just hearing me. Hearing me is still very important, and so it's good to be back on the stream. And I know that many of you have come to love the stream, love to see me here in the studio, and that means a lot. And I feel like I'm able to interact with you in such a fashion, like I've never been able to do so. I'll tell you, I sit in a room by myself. I mean, I sit in it. This room is largely dark. They lock me in, actually. They slide the provisions onto the door, and then, they try not to make any loud noises because they know what it does to me. No. Anyway, but I do. I sit in a room by myself. I did that in Kansas. When I lived in Kansas, I had a spare bedroom. I built this all 8 years ago. I built it all myself and moved this, what you're watching right now. Hello, all this. I moved it myself. Like a kid getting out of college, moving to his first job. I put it in a U-Haul behind my Bronco. And I took 2 days, 3 days to drive across the country just listening to music, kind of clearing my head going, wow, my life has changed completely. I'm not going to grow old in a cul-de-sac raising grandchildren. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, I want to raise grandchildren eventually, but I didn't want to be in a cul-de-sac, and I knew that I had a lot of things to offer. And you and I have been on a journey together, and I wasn't about ready to let that journey slow down. And so I came to Washington, D.C. I designed this plan a year ago because I said we're going to give them what for. We fought all the way. We watched them try to kill Donald Trump. We watched them try to take him down politically, take him off the ballot. We watched as he would sit in a courtroom while the Joe Biden's shadow was campaigning. And sit there and just feel the angst and the anger of them trying to persecute this man, them bastards doing this. And they silenced our speech after a rigged election. And they said we couldn't talk about COVID and our children, the kids' schools being closed and their lives being ruined and our businesses being shut down and being told, for God's sake, we can't go to church. We went through all of that. And I wasn't about ready to sit in a cul-de-sac and not recognize the historical significance of this moment, and the left is spiraling into hell. And I'm going to watch that spiral right here in Washington, D.C. It's kind of a version of Mr. Smith's Come to Washington, except for I'm representing you, but not in Congress. I'm representing you. This is why I share on social media. If you follow me on my social media, I share so much of my life with you and my experiences with you, and I still haven't lost that sense of wonder when you meet somebody like, Carolyn Levitt or Nigel Farage or Ned Ryan, or who else have I met since I got here? I've met a lot of people since I got here, and every one of them I go, oh my God, and I share the picture with you. It's kind of like I'm sending a picture to, a relative. Say, hey, look who I saw. You can see it on social media. Just go to Rob Carson Show, if you would. I think it's time for some good news.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning. Lots of winning. It's oh so good.
Yeah, and you know what? You Democrats can just kiss my butt. King's protesters can just kiss it. Because we're winning and there's so much good news, you can't come up with fake protests enough to make us hate Donald Trump because he's kicking butt totally. Listen to this. Americans seeing a welcome sight at gas pumps across the nation as the average price falls below $3 a gallon. Joe Biden, pudding for brains, did D-word for Richard while he was in office. He did nothing but cause the price of gas to go through the ceiling. In 2022, gas prices reached a record high, hitting a national average $4.60. Do you remember that? The old man would go to the beach every weekend and hang out there and slobber on himself and go get ice cream Industry experts were predicting the situation to worsen. A cruel summer in 2022. Gas prices well over $6. Recent surveys indicated Americans are struggling to balance rising prices across the board. Quinnipiac, released at the end of March of 2020, indicated over a third of Americans were cutting back on groceries to afford gas. You remember that? You remember that, Democrats, you morons? You remember the price of used cars going through the ceiling? That was trending this morning. What was trending on Cash for Clunkers was trending on social media. You know why? Because Donald Trump caused all of these great used cars to be destroyed to prop up new car sales, to save his faltering economy. And that in the supply chain caused used car prices during Joe Biden's administration to go up about 50%. And now the Democrats are saying, oh, yeah, your car repossessions are high under Donald Trump. Well, you morons, you caused the price of cars to double. You caused the interest rates to triple during Joe Biden's administration. I have an expression, as somebody who had to sell cars, 50,000 is the new 35,000. Because you used to be able to buy a nice mid-range SUV, Highlander XLE, mid-range, got leather. You know, you don't have the heated and cooled seats, but you got the leather and you got the sunroof, 35-ish to 43-ish. Now, 50 to 65. A new Tundra, 85. A new F-150, depending on the trim level, starts at 70 grand. Do you wonder why? Under Joe Biden, the average car payment went over $700. Over $700. Because you can't buy a good used car. You can't buy a good used car under 12 grand, under 15. The average price of a used car now is like $27,000. Did you know that? A used car. My son, the 2009 Lexus RX 350 I gave him, that I bought for cheap because I worked at the car dealership, has 160,000 miles on it, now needs to have the engine taken out because all the gaskets are, old. It's going to cost $7,000 to fix the engine. That car's worth about $7,000. So he's going to have to sell it to somebody who was going to do it themselves. But to get him in another car, start at $25,000. $20,000, by the way, is a $400 payment. $30,000 is a $600. $40,000 is an $800. $50,000 is a $1,000. In case you wanted to, these are the things you learn when you sell cars. There you go. Fortunately, things are better. Here's a report from Michigan.
Now, AAA toll local 4, Michigan drivers are now paying an average of $2.79 per gallon for regular unleaded.
Yeah, but what's Joe Biden's favorite ice cream?
Which is a new 2025 low. This price is 41 cents less than this time last month.
Wow.
And 49 cents less than this time last year.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, drivers are loving these low prices. And how much does it cost you to fill up your truck?
I think it's about $120. Great. Yeah, a lot better than last year.
Yeah, I know, because Joe Biden, Pudding for Brains, was doing nothing at all. Not one little bit, just actually all sorts of restrictions on drilling and all of that. Oh, more cash flows into American truckers' pockets as Trump cracks down on foreign drivers. What? Yeah, I know. American truckers cheering the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigrant drivers as not only a means to make highways safer, but also to step into raking more cash in markets long known for profiting off of cheap labor. Ilya Deninsko, a driver for ICV Express, said, I definitely noticed some rates going up. Just days earlier, Deninsko was able to negotiate a load originally posted for $1,000 up to $1,900 without me even speaking to someone. They approved $1,900. There you go. Roughly 3.5 million truckers who carry a commercial driver's license in the United States. In states like New York, people were getting a trucker's license with the expression "no name given," and working for pennies and not being able to speak English and endangering people's lives. Here's some more good news. Republicans declare coal week as Trump administration leads fossil fuel comeback. Oh, my goodness, yeah. The Department of Interior announced 13.1 million acres for coal leasing and lower royalty rates from 12.5% to 7%. Guess what? That electric car you drive, there's a real good chance it's operated on energy generated by a coal plant. So all you're doing is adding a middleman to your electric vehicle. Because it's a fossil fuel, you see. Yeah, it's a fossil fuel. There you go. Oh, and then there's this. Here's some more good news. Kristi Noem, all the good news, all the illegal criminals that are being arrested. And, of course, Democrats are protesting it because they're insane.
Today marks 9 months since President Trump has been in office and since he began his work to restore American safety for our families that live here. What he has accomplished for the American people is nothing short of extraordinary.
But he's a king. He's a dictator.
We appreciate what he has done to make us safe again, to secure our borders, and to make sure that he's protecting our people.
Yeah.
Since January, the Department of Homeland Security has arrested over 480,000 criminal illegal aliens.
Well, we better have a No Kings protest then.
70% of those individuals have criminal charges against them or have been convicted of those criminal charges. Across the country, we're making communities safer so that families can thrive and they can prosper and they can enjoy the kind of freedom that this country was established to provide. Unfortunately, many times we see the news distorting the truth and not bringing the real facts of the stories to the American people, and that is one of the reasons why we're here today, is to make sure that we're focused on what this office has.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. You can't lie big enough to cover up the truth. That greatness is happening in the country, and you're death spiraling into hell, Democrat Party. Nice try. It's not going to work. The No Kings protest was a fart in a hurricane. It's already gone. And did you hear what they did? Precisely at 2 p.m. Eastern. I guess they started at noon. They ended precisely. Everybody clocked out. All of the protests ended and dissipated at exactly the same time. You know why? Because they're being bought and paid for. Organic, fake, losers. You're losers. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're mostly Democrats like B.B. Harris. They cry when they lose from their left-wing views. I wish they'd spare us. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their mind.
People that are pro-life, I hate you!
Got called out by J.D. Vance. When he had the chance, he really nailed them. They're too dumb to know. Kamala and Joe have really failed them. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds.
Well, I'm gonna pay a visit. I'm headed to the Everglades. Gonna see a brand new prison for folks arrested in ICE raids. I hear it's already getting all kinds of accolades. Alligator Alcatraz, it's where illegals will be kept. We're cracking down, unlike Biden, who was totally inept. It is something that the liberals in Florida cannot accept. California Alcatraz, I want to open that one too. Just imagine the hard time that real criminals will do. Alligator Alcatraz, I'm gonna take a tour of you.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
From Talk Radio 680 WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Is initially in New York, that's where I was. You had thousands of people that were there, so yes, there was quite a large crowd. But then as soon as 1-2 hours passed by, the entire crowd completely dissipated, kind of like they were off the clock and they all just disappeared. It was really baffling to me because I have covered protests extensively for years at this point, and I have never seen a protest dissipate this fast.
Yeah, because it's all fake. All the opposition to Donald Trump is fake. It's remarkable. It's fun to watch. I told you, 80% of us believe the country was headed the wrong direction. 80% of us came together to save her. And the 20% is, they can just go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Here's Batya Ungar-Sargon. She's spectacular. I met her at the Kennedy Center the other night. She was rocking an Amy Winehouse look. She had her hair up in a bun, and then she did a presentation. She was spectacular. Everything I dreamed it possibly being, meeting Batya Ungar-Sargon. She's spectacular. Here she is talking about the No Kings protests.
Well, I want to start by saying I totally support the protests. I think that this is, a very important part of what it means to be an American is to raise up your voice in any form that you wish. We have these First Amendment rights, and they are precious and dear. Yes. I also think that this was not indicative or representative even of the mainstream Democratic Party. No. These protests were overwhelmingly white. Yep. They were overwhelmingly elderly people, older people. True, yeah. Now, again, white boomers have the right to have a mass therapy session about the fact that Donald Trump won. But to call it a No Kings protest, to act like he is a king is so utterly preposterous. This is a man who won the popular vote. That's true. He won every swing state. That is true, yeah. He is a person who is enacting the exact agenda he promised he was going to enact while he was campaigning. Yeah, and so what they're actually protesting is the absolute perfection of American democracy, where a person campaigned on an agenda, won the popular vote, and is now enacting that agenda.
Yeah, because it's all a big temper tantrum by a bunch of losers. We had to endure 4 years of hell after a rigged election and a pudding for brains president who was inept. And I loved, like when Donald Trump put the picture of the auto pen on the Rose Garden. It's spectacular. This is what you get for putting us through so much hell. You get what you get. We're not going anywhere, but you're going down, baby. You are going down. Corinne Jean-Pierre has written a book. Oh, my God, this is so spectacular. She said she never saw President Joe Biden's mental acuity falter, even though everybody did. Everybody did. It is remarkable. Here she is defending Biden's brain. No, actually, I'll start with this. I think it's on, let me see, where's the CBS soundbite? Here is Corinne Jean-Pierre talking about Biden's dementia, and she didn't know about it.
But not just the party that pushed him out, the party as it's behaving today in this moment when we need a Democratic Party to be fighting, to be an opposition party. I was his White House press secretary, which means I had a role that saw him practically every day and traveled with him.
And you saw nothing.
For more than 95%. We've always said, we're not going to say, oh, he didn't age. age. He aged, and he poked fun at it. We always owned up, and with age comes what happens when you get older.
Yeah, they're brilliant. We're not stupid. And this is why your little book is going to fail, because you're a failure. You were a terrible press secretary. You were a DEI hire. You can't say that, it's racist. Well, I just did. It's very obvious. Here she is getting called out by the CBS dimwits in the morning. They do the morning news, you know. They're the ones they do, like, you know, breaking news and then summer salad recipes and then the Hollywood dish. I mean, brilliant analysis in morning television. Here she is getting called out.
The apparent decline of Joe Biden. You said you're...
Who's our musical guest this hour?
A member of the inner circle, and you never saw the decline. And after that, I wrote, how? Yep. You even write, Karine, that you were on the plane with him going to the debate. And you didn't see anything.
Well, when we were on Air Force One going to the debate, you got to remember his campaign people were on the team, his family was on the team. I actually was one of those rare trips that I didn't really see him until after the debate, even though I was on the plane. So really, I want everybody to know that I take this question incredibly serious.
You are the only person other than Jake Tapper who says you didn't know that Joe Biden's brain was not working. It was obvious. It was a punchline. You're so full of crap, you have peanuts floating in your eyes.
I do. I was his White House press secretary, which means I had a role that saw him practically every day and traveled with him.
And you saw nothing.
For more than 95%. We've always said, we're not going to say, oh, he...
You know what? Honestly, absolute bullcrap. Honestly, absolute bullcrap. Here's the debate, by the way. I don't know. This just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. What the hell? I don't even know.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look,
we're not stupid.
If we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact of...
We have never seen a presidential debate like this. We're not stupid. We are not accepting your nonsense. You're not going to sell any books. You're not going to sell any books because your book is an insult to our intelligence. Dear God. Here's Jen Hot Sake, saying she didn't see it either, had no clue. Now, well, she is clueless.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time.
Well, you know, you always need to watch him on television because he couldn't muster enough energy or mental acuity to look good on television either. You didn't need to see him in person. Here's KGB defending him and on a podcast getting eaten alive.
When we talk about the mental acuity, and again, I take this very, very seriously.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I never saw anyone who wasn't there. I saw someone who was always engaged.
No, you're high.
He talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. He wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do night events.
But Tim, that's not true. Tim, you're
yes,
conflating all of it.
Yes,
that's
it
what
is.
you're doing. No, you're telling me he didn't talk well about it. Then you're telling me he didn't talk at all.
He didn't do either. He didn't talk very often, and when he did, it wasn't very good. He sounded very old.
Wow, this is like one of her left-wing buddies calling her out on this. You know why? Because you'd have to be stupid to believe what she has to say. She's selling a book now, and she's defending Joe Biden like Renfield defends Dracula. I'm not kidding. Like Renfield defends Dracula, digging him out of his casket every night to go out and hunt. That's Renfield keeping his old corpse alive. That's Renfield. That's who she is. That's kind of a nice Halloween reference. Coming up, John Reid running for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Virginia. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson, not proud member of the 4 a.m. club. You know what that is? Well, that's the time that I usually wake up every night and can't get back to sleep. Then I found Beam's Dream Powder. Now, Beam's Dream Powder is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, including reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It's designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling amazing. And unlike other sleep aids, there's no next day grogginess, just great restful sleep. Plus, Dream tastes incredible, and it's become a part of my nightly routine. Simple, easy, effective. Dream is made right here in America, supporting jobs, quality, and the principles we stand for in America. Thank you very much. Beam is going to give my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount up to 40%. Try their best-selling Dream Powder. Get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Again, use the code Newsmax at checkout. That's beam.com/Newsmax and use code word Newsmax for up to 40% off.
If you're illegal alien in the United States, this message is for you. You cannot hide from ICE.
Avoiding ICE ain't easy. Illegals are so sleazy. Tom Holman set them straight. To ICE should be reporting. You should be self-deporting. Leaving will be your fate. Back home is where you're headed. That's safe to say. And you won't make a stop along the way. No longer can you stay here. You've seen your final day here, 'cause you've committed crime. Avoiding ICE ain't easy. It is far from easy. Avoiding ICE ain't easy anytime.
The Democrats shut down, and them all leaving town will be a gift to me. I see it as a firing opportunity. Let the layoffs begin. America will win. Just you wait and see. The Democrats just gave me an opportunity. Now I have a chance, along with J.D. Vance, to make us more waste-free. A federal budget cutting opportunity. The budget I'll reduce when thousands are cut loose. Less bureaucracy. I will make this another opportunity. This is a big time opportunity.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday.
Here we go.
I'm John Reid, candidate for lieutenant governor, and I wrote this ad.
Every generation faces a choice: strength or surrender, courage or cowardice. One path brings a stronger Virginia. Parents leading the charge, not bureaucrats. Businesses building and growing, not burning. Law and order and opportunity. The other choice? Chaos. Higher taxes. More crime and radical politics tearing us apart. Gazala Hashmi, the inexperienced poetry professor of division. John Reid, the fighter for Virginia. Shunned by the rich and elite, John Reid is standing up for the working people of Virginia.
I'm John Reid, candidate for Lieutenant Governor. I'll be reasonable, responsible, respectful, and most importantly, fair. And I'm asking for your vote on November the 4th.
Now, it's not very often you hear at the beginning of a political ad, I'm whoever, and I wrote this ad. Usually it's a bunch of consultants who sit around and they do all sorts of, these little focus groups, and they go, oh, you really can't say this, and you really can't say that, and you really can't say. John Reid said, no. You know what? I think I'm going to write my own ad, and I'm going to tell you something. That's a pretty darn nicely written ad, and I'm a writer, for God's sake. John Reid is running for lieutenant governor. You're a broadcaster is what the deal is. I can't even imagine how much copy you've written, brother.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm not letting other people write that kind of stuff. I take feedback, and I need data, and I am welcome to hear other people's analysis, but I never want to get to a place where when I stand up on stage that it's somebody else's words. I needs to be fundamentally from me, and that's important. I think the voters can tell the difference.
You're out. The reason why you're out so much, John, and you put 1 million miles on your vehicle, for God's sake, while you're running here. I mean, you're everywhere. You know what people think. I'm in touch with people. I like to think that I'm in touch, but you have been everywhere in this state. You know what challenges that people face outside of just Fairfax and Loudoun County. And you everything in that ad addressed what how they think, their lack of experience and insight, and what you have witnessed.
Yeah, I have made a point of going all over the state. You know what? You know who told me to do this? I mean, I witnessed it from George Allen when I was touring the state with him 20 years ago. But I went and I sat with former Governor Doug Wilder, who was nice enough to sit down with me. A big Democrat, first black governor in America.
Yep.
I didn't know whether he would take my meeting or not, but he was nice enough to sit down with me. He said, John, you are going to lose unless you get in your car and you go meet as many Virginians as possible. And you know who else did that when people were skeptical of him as a candidate? Doug Wilder. And he did win. And I think Virginia hadn't changed so much that the people of Virginia don't care. They want to see their candidates hustle. They want to see you in person. They would at least have the opportunity to. They want to shake your hand, tell you what is making them mad, what they think needs to be done, what their priorities are, and I've tried to do that.
I'm sure Gazala Hashmi gets a lot of good insight as she sits in the faculty lounge and listens to a bunch of elites. I mean, that's who she hangs out with. She's an effete, elite leftist with no life experience who sits around the faculty lounge, and they think up all sorts of great ideas that never work, and they are not in touch with what the people need.
And that's been on display for the 5 or 6 years she's been in the Senate. I mean, every decision that has come to Gazala Hashmi, she's made the wrong choice. When we were going through COVID, she's the one that wanted to keep the schools closed. Yeah. I mean, all right, I give everybody some grace at the beginning. Nobody had dealt with a pandemic. Okay, we had to be careful. But then 7, 8, 9 months into this, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We knew the kids weren't in danger, and we knew we were killing their opportunity for an education, and she insisted on keeping the schools closed because she wasn't looking out for the kids. She was looking out for the teachers' unions, which is a consistent theme with that lady.
And she doesn't like to debate. She's refused to do a debate. But wait, I'm seeing online there's going to be a debate tonight. I hear you're going to debate. What's going on?
I waited 25 days for her to agree to 1 hour out of the entire time, 1 hour with the debate. Yes. Even National Public Radio in D.C., she said, no, I won't do a debate. Yeah. So now we are going to have an artificial intelligence debate tonight at 6 o'clock. You will see the video go up. This is a representation of Senator Hashmi.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's an unflattering one. We used her own words. Mm-hmm. The voice that you will hear is an AI representation of her voice.
Gotcha.
Very basic AI.
Yes.
And then I will perform without a script.
Gotcha.
And, just like it's a real debate for me. And I think people are going to see that I can think on my feet. I don't need a lot of prompting. I don't even get a rehearsal for this. It's one take, the whole thing.
This is actually historical. This is historic. This has never been done before. The closest thing we've seen is Clint Eastwood talking to an empty chair, Representative Barack Obama.
And I felt like it was important to actually let Senator Hashmi's words speak for themselves. Wow. You know, I mean, I'm a fair guy. Look, this is politics, and I want to win. But some of the people I was working with were like, "Oh, we should make fun of her. We should make this into a joke." I was like, "No, this is serious. This is the number 2 position in the state of Virginia." Yep. And fortunately for me, she's taken such extreme positions.
Yeah.
I don't even have to embellish anything. Wow. She would probably be proud of this stuff.
Now, where are we going to see this? I want to know where to go to see this tonight. When, how, where, what, why. I got to see it. This is history. This is spectacular. What?
Facebook and X. On Facebook, it's John Reid for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. On X, John Reid for VA. It's on YouTube. The video launches right at 6 o'clock tonight. It's only about 45 minutes long, so you can eat dinner while you watch this, and minimally, it is a very unique way of getting this message out. When she refuses to stand on a stage, and she's been so insulting about it too. Like, oh, she won't talk to me because I'm supposedly not a serious candidate, even though I was Ronald Reagan's last press assistant, ran communications at the U.S. Senate, communications for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Come on, lady, you don't get to make that decision. It's a part of that arrogant Democrat attitude that really needs to be slapped back, and coupled with the hostility and the violence of that party, they need an awakening here that Virginians are not going to tolerate this anymore. And I hope this will give people who are on the fence a reason to support me November 4th.
Now, how have they reacted? How has her campaign reacted to you doing a virtual debate with her tonight?
You know what? That's a good question. I've been running around all day. I haven't seen a response.
Oh,
that's a good question. I'm sure they're furious.
Oh, I'll bet
they
are.
Thinking she could just stay in the basement and no one would ever call her on it. And the media. I used to be a reporter. I'm mad at my friends. Like, why are you allowing this lady to get away with a serious campaign and not ever answer questions from the press, not ever defend herself, not ever question me? I'm willing to do it. I offered 10 debates, and she won't do any. Wow. I would think the media would be offended, but they're not.
They're mad if a bunch of octogenarian liberals and people in inflatable costumes go out and have a no King's March in your honor. I want to continue the conversation on the other side of the break. John Reid, go to John Reid for VA on Twitter if you want to watch this virtual debate tonight. I cannot wait. I mean, honestly, you don't normally get excited about local races too much. This is spectacular. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.com.
Here we go.
Well, I think the Republican candidate is very good, and I think she should win because the Democrat candidate's a disaster. So I haven't been too much involved in Virginia. I love the state. I did very well in the state. But I will tell you, I think the Republican candidate is excellent, and I think the Democrat candidate is a disaster. I mean, I watched her in the debate. She couldn't answer the most basic question. And, you know, a big thing with that race and also the race in New Jersey is going to be energy. Both of the Democrats are going to drive the energy prices through the roof. True. Through the roof. Your energy is going to double and triple. If the Republican gets elected, your energy is going to be coming down by 70, 80%. Thank you very much.
There you go. That is Donald Trump on Air Force One the other night talking about the Virginia race for governor, for Attorney General, and, of course, Lieutenant Governor. John Reid is the candidate for Lieutenant Governor from the Republican Party in the state of Virginia. I didn't move to Virginia to have it become Maryland. I lived in Maryland for 12 dang years, and I am not going to friggin' live in Maryland. I'm not going to let them take Virginia and make it into Maryland.
I think there are a lot of people who agree with you, and here's the little secret. There are a lot of Democrats who are very worried about the economic viability of the state if we lose the right to work in Virginia. I mean, we have benefited for, 50 years, 60 years with right to work because we're the northernmost state on the eastern seaboard that doesn't force people into a union. Yep. You get to decide for yourself.
Yep.
And that means that that's good for the worker, and it's business people want to come to Virginia. If the Democrats get their way, and it's not just me saying this to try to alarm everyone, they want to get rid of right to work. They have promised that. We will lose all those jobs to Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia will start to decay like that northeastern corridor. Some wonderful places to visit, but they are not economic powerhouses anymore, and there's a reason for it, bad Democrat policy.
Well, people are leaving Maryland. People are leaving Baltimore. I mean, they are. The only thing that keeps people anchored in Maryland is government largesse. That's really it, honestly, because it's very difficult to run a business. I moved to my old neighborhood. I moved there in 2004, left in 2014-ish. And I went back, and it is a pot dealership and a pawn shop where the Chinese restaurant used to be and the whatever.
Yeah.
And the mall and Lake Forest Mall still abandoned, covered with graffiti, drug abuse in there. The neighborhood, my kids' elementary school, looks like absolute crap. It looks like a third world. Then you drive across the river into Virginia, and it's driving into Oz. And I don't want that to happen to Virginia, sir.
You got it. And everywhere you look, like the city that I live in the county. They're brand new malls, they're brand new stores, brand new shops. There's economic viability and growth in the county. Then you go 13 miles into the city of Richmond, which has been run by Democrats for decades, and it is declined. And the only reason anybody's building any new thing is that the government finally got spurred on by some conservatives to give tax credits for people to build new buildings and to bring their businesses there, but then they all leave at the end of the day and go to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Well, that is Democrat bad policy on display. And again, it's no longer hypothetical. We cannot let Democrats run an economy that they hate. They tell you they hate capitalism. They tell you they hate successful people and want to tax them into oblivion. You can't let them do it, or we'll all be sitting in the gutter.
I, got to tell you, one of the things in Virginia that I am not a fan of, I'm going to be 60 on Wednesday or tomorrow. My God in heaven, it's weird, bizarre. I mean, what the hell? When did I get old? But I look spectacular. But you think individual about traveling, maybe get an RV, and the personal property tax is stupid on them, and so that's another way they just nickel and dime you to death. And I'm hoping that'll go the way, go. But honestly, we are nickeled and dimed to death. And there's a point where you it's not worth living somewhere. Like California, it's not worth it anymore. And it's sad. Right. Virginia's a beautiful state. Let's not go there.
Virginia has got to get leaders in who are going to think outside of the box and stop doing things which are detrimental to the economy, and that most people hate. The car tax is one of those issues. And, my friend Jim Gilmore became governor because he promised to get rid of the car tax, and then Republicans and Democrats stabbed him in the back and prevented that from being repealed. Winsome Sears wants to get rid of that damn thing. I do too.
Hope so.
And then we got to sit down and come up with some solutions so that we don't keep losing to states that don't tax the heck out of everybody. And I think we can do that with smart leadership, and that's why I'm in this race.
Yep. Now polling's pretty tight. Margin of error for Winsome Sears. It looks like Miaras is way out ahead of Jay Jones because he's wanted to murder some people and fantasized about murdering his opponent, his family. Other than that, he's a great guy. Certainly should be the chief law enforcement officer in the state. What are you hearing about you, and what are you hearing about the polls? I know the energy is there in the state of Virginia. It seems to be amping up as we approach Election Day.
Yeah, well, we just got a new poll while I've been talking to you from Virginia Commonwealth University, Governor Wilder's polling unit. And Winsome Sears closing the gap, and then I am 1 point behind within the margin of error for LG. And something's got to break. We've still got a large group of people who are undecided, and that's why I got to work double hard over the next 2 weeks to say, look, you can have a poetry professor from one of the universities as lieutenant governor who doesn't have a clue what's going on and has made a lot of bad decisions. Or you can have someone who's experienced like me who will be reasonable and responsible. I hope that won't be a tough decision.
Well, the last thing that Virginia needs is a liberal academic. Zoran Mandami is a liberal academic, never had any life experience, and they don't know what they do. They sit around and they think about and they fantasize about, socialism can actually work when it left 100 million people in the body pits last century. Anyways, I have no time for this nonsense, particularly in a state, a storied history of Virginia, strong people, free people, and they deserve better than that. John Reid, I appreciate you, brother. Where can people go to help you out, sir?
Well, check out the debate tonight on Facebook, John Reid for Lieutenant Governor, and on X, John Reid for VA. And then, of course, I'm still scraping together the dollars to try to stay on TV. JohnReidForVirginia.com, REID.
All
You're
right.
awesome to have me on.
Brother, I couldn't, I'm graced by your presence. I wish you the very best, and I hope we will have a celebratory party when this all ends. I'll talk to you soon. We'll talk next week, John.
Thank you. I'll keep working, I promise.
All right, brother. I know you will. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages.
Hello, everybody.
Message and data rates may apply. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Deplorable dinosaur.
For a while.
We have some audio issues. I see bleed over Rob. Yeah, I know. I just don't have any help. I've got to do it all myself, you see. I engineer this. I run everything myself. I moved this across the country 1,800 miles. By myself. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right?
Is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free
testosterone levels. Let's see, BF05. What's up? Good to see you. Helmet Guy 3 is watching on the Rumbly Roo as well. How's it going? I'm glad to be back on streaming.
You just need to send them a text.
Text savvy.
I think, it's interesting. We started streaming in December. And yesterday we discovered how much you miss it when it's not there. And, and I think you guys missed it. I think a lot of people missed it. I missed it. It was weird not looking up and, seeing you guys comment and everything. It really bummed me out that I couldn't see the live stream. Really bummed me out. But you know what? We're back and better
when it's time to buy or sell ag equipment.
Over on the Facebook.
Auction. We're your go-to online marketplace for tractors, combines, sprayers, and more. Our no reserve policy, every item sells.
I think I'm going to be going to a John Reid event this weekend.
Nationwide reach with a local touch.
I had the opportunity to speak to Winsome Sears yesterday.
Expanding your operation or streamlining your fleet. We've got you covered. Visit purplewave.com today. Fuel your farm with Purple Wave Auction.
If your home is a bit dated, one of the best things you can do is renovate prior to selling. But how do you pay for it?
Got a lot of people watching on Twitter today because I know you like watching.
Let Renovation.Real Estate take care of everything.
So anyway, we got one more break here. What are we going to talk about? I got to figure this out.
Renovations, then list your home for sale. You don't pay for renovations until closing.
We got it. We haven't had any comedy today.
Imagine using
I got it.
Without any upfront expense. Call today at 410-724-1199 or visit us at Renovation.Real Estate. You sell it, you profit. MHIC 118-795.
Let's do comedy, shall we? Nobody else does.
Could have about 320 here.
Right now, if you invest in gold, which is $4,113 an ounce. Birch Gold is going to send you a free silver round. Gold, silver's about $50 an ounce, and it's going up, and its value. You're going to get a free silver round if you invest in gold up to $5,000. Purchase from Birch Gold by the end of the month. Going to send you this free patriotic silver round. It's a Troy ounce. Thank you. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate you, man. It's got the Gadsden and American flags on it. It's really nice. I carry it with me in my pocket. It's beautiful, and I carry it in this little pouch. And it's a kind of a good luck charm. If you would like to get this silver round and also get on the gold train before it's unaffordable for you, just text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. A-plus rating from the BBB. Tens of thousands of happy customers. Many of you have invested because you heard it here. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for a free info kit. Get this silver round. You can be eligible for it. Again, up every $5,000 purchase from Birch. This, before Veterans Day, this month, you can take advantage of that. How does that sound? Jim Gossett did something. Jimmy Kimmel has gone off the deep end. He's raving on Trump fans. He had a drag queen story hour on the other night, and he's not going to be around much longer on the network television. And Jim Gossett did this as the President of the United States.
Kimmel keeps slipping. Ratings are in the tank. He has himself to thank.
Yeah.
Brought in a drag queen for children's story time.
It's pretty sick.
Keeping his show on is a crime. Such a crime. Jimmy Kimmel's gone off of the deep end.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
He is bonkers, that is clear to see.
Hey.
They should fire him before the weekend.
Well, next year anyway.
He's the worst in late night history.
Lost 70% of his audience 2 weeks ago.
You want your audience back?
After he came back.
You need to Candace hack. You want a better show? You gotta let him
go! Wow! Did you hear that? Go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Give him $10 a month. He will spiff you 2 songs every day. Jim Gossett is a genius. I worked with a guy named Paul Shanklin at the Rush Limbaugh program. Nothing against Paul, but Jim Gossett is of the deal. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Help him out if you could, because he is brilliant. And this is the only show in America that's doing comedy and leading edge opinion. And that's why it's taken off. That's why people love it so much. That's why I love you guys so much. You guys are spectacular. You're awesome. Appreciate you. Check out the podcast. If you would, go to your usual podcast platforms. Check out Rob Carson Show. In the meantime, God bless you. God bless America's founded. God bless Donald Trump as he turns this country around for the better. And until tomorrow, which is Wednesday, hump day, don't catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
This
information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.